Well, ladies and gentlemen, just when we thought we are dealing with the 6th, the 6th of July, well, now the same thing is happening, but with the Mpumalanga Commissioner of Police dropping bombshells. I'm not going to say anything, just hear her. She makes serious allegations. She names big names. She goes into Hillary Gardi, who was murdered in Mpumalanga. She talks about Bobby Mutaung, the son of the founder of the Kaiser Chiefs Soccer Club. She names names. She names case numbers. She speaks very clear. She names figures. She talks about houses. So I'm not going to waste time. I'll be with you on the chat and we'll come back when she's done presenting what she has to present. This is unbelievable. And one of the things that will probably happen is you'll get allegation fatigue, because while we are dealing with Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi's allegations, we now have this coming through from another province. So I'll leave it for you to hear. Listen to Daphney Manamela, Lieutenant General Daphney Manamela. She is suspended. She was suspended. She fought it in court. The court said, no, you need a proper process. She came back. Then they added more allegations against her in terms of impropriety and just, saying a bad employee. But she's coming back and she actually hits Masemola very hard. So you can hear it. Make up your mind for yourself.
Since 2025 July, the country has been engaged in a matter of national importance regarding the functionality or otherwise the criminal justice system in the country, brought forward by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, a colleague, the Provincial Commissioner of KwaZulu-Natal. Thanks to made a submission regarding the functionality or otherwise the criminal justice system. The same thanks must go to the Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Toko Didiza, for establishing an ad hoc committee comprised of members of Parliament for different political parties. Since then, the country has been kept engaged, exposing several allegations of wrongdoing in the criminal justice system. This wrongdoing, some of them alleged to be committed by senior police officers, judiciary officers, etc. The focus on the exposition of wrongdoing in the criminal justice system has mainly in the KZN and Gauteng provinces. However, this period must not pass without exposing the same wrongdoing in the other parts of the country, especially in Mpumalanga province. I am Lieutenant General Daphney Manamela. I have 31 years service employed in the South African Police Service. I hold a master's degree in public admin. I was appointed as a Provincial Commissioner of Mpumalanga on the 29th June 2021. As the Provincial Commissioner, I had to operate within the confines of the South African Police Act, Act 68 of 1995. This act inter alia that the Provincial Commissioner shall have command of or control of the service under his or her province and may exercise the powers and shall perform the duties and functions necessary to give effect to Section 219 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. The Act provides that the Provincial Commissioner shall determine the distribution of strength of the service under his or her jurisdiction in the province among the different areas, station areas, offices, and the units. I joined the service due to my commitment to serve the citizens of this country and to continue and to ensure that the rule of law and justice is maintained in South Africa. I subscribed to this commitment due to the love of my country and the challenges I saw it faced in the criminal justice system. I was determined, I still remain determined to ensure that the rule of law and justice in this country is served. I felt it is my duty to inform and share with the citizens of Mpumalanga and South Africans in general regarding the wrongdoing in the South African Police Service in Mpumalanga. I will share with the public the following: crime strategy within the province, the establishment of the task team, suspensions and the disbandment of the task team, investigations of political killings, including interference on high-profile cases, docket management system and manipulation thereof, illegal mining and those involved, extortion and human trafficking, attempt meeting with the National Commissioner of the South African Police Service, General Masemola, and interference thereof. I am quite certain that South Africans are asking, why didn't I say this before? I knocked on many doors, starting with my National Commissioner with calls and engagement. On the 21st February 2025, I engaged the Office of the Minister of Police, Minister Mkhunu, through a letter. On the 24th February 2025, I received an email response from the Chief of Staff, Mr. Nkabinde, informing me that the complaint is escalated to the Special Advisor to the Minister for Further Handling. On 8 November 2024, I discussed with the former Minister of Police, Mr. Bekitele, who responded that it's not him, but it is General Masemola who is insisting. We have been on a public trial for a period of more than 2 years, embarrassed, humiliated, undermined, victimized, and accused by some of our colleagues and journalists with unsubstantiated and unverified information based on lies. Our dignity has been tainted as we touched and pressed the buttons that were never touched nor pressed. We are prepared and ready to stand by our words and face the consequences of being dismissed in the service if need be. We believe that the time has come to brief the South Africans on the real reasons of the indefinite suspensions of the Provincial Commissioner of Mpumalanga. I wouldn't wait to exist the service in 2 months' time without clearing the air on all fabricated allegations against me. What we are going to present today is only the beginning. Crime strategy. One of the strategic focus and posture of the South African Police Service in the province was to reduce crime and ensure that communities in Mpumalanga province enjoy out the vigorous promotion of a safe and a healthy environment to communities in a sustainable manner. The following strategic focus were identified inter alia: investigation and detection of property-related crimes, contact-related crimes, crime dependent on police action for detection, and the effective utilization of forensic investigation leads in support of the investigation of crime through the reduction of outstanding follow-up investigation in person to case investigative needs. The establishment of the provincial task team in Mpumalanga. In view of our strategic focus to reduce crime in the province, there was an apparent increase in serious crime and has necessitated the establishment of the task team to handle the new threats of serious crime that were emerging and threatening the safety and the security of Mpumalanga. This alone became an economic sabotage as it affected the economic growth growth for both business fraternity and the society at large. It was observed that the previous team applied the fragmented methodology in addressing the challenges and as such became ineffective in investigating and prosecuting the cases on hand. The background will imply the meeting was held where the retired Deputy Provincial Commissioner Crime Detection Major General Botsotso Mukangwe and the Provincial Commissioner, the Deputy Provincial Commissioner Vispon, Major General Madima Kobela, then the Brigadier, were present amongst others to assess and agreed on the strategy to minimize the risk. The agreement was reached for the establishment of the task team to address the crime. It was against this ground that the provincial task team was established and approved by the Provincial Commissioner of Mpumalanga, Lieutenant General Manamela, on the 21st December 2021 to mitigate the escalating trends of serious crime, in particular the ATM bombing in the province. In order to mitigate against these emerging trends, the team consisted of 3 members derived from various stations and role players from organized crime, general detectives, crime intelligence, Directorate of Priority Crime Investigations, DPCI, with Tactical Response Team TRT on ad hoc basis was identified. The task team was led by the retired provincial head of serious crime and violence, Brigadier Daphney Manamela. The outstanding performance of the task team was well received based on result-driven approach, hence its mandate was extended to other roles such as illegal mining, extortion, political killings, murder, business robbery, kidnapping and tracing suspects of other serious crime to be apprehended and convicted. The success of the provincial task team, as since established in December 2021, investigated a minimum 159 dockets. Dockets accounted for were 18 for ATM bombing, 26 politically related, 26 business robbery, 23 ad hoc, 4 parallel, amounting to 97 dockets. Other 62 registered case dockets were amongst others murder, attempted murder, possession of unlicensed firearm and ammunition, possession of explosive and illegal mining. The team succeeded in 61 case dockets with more than 61 suspects arrested and charged. Firearms were recovered, suspects were found guilty, others were caught going, and 98 were still under investigation. These exclude other ad hoc cases assigned to the team, to mention but few. In the German case Tourist, the suspect was arrested and convicted. The political killing cases in Pitritif, both cases suspects are in prison and are still caught going. Disbandment of the provincial task team. On the 27th February 2023, all dockets in the hands of the task team members were taken on instruction of the Deputy Provincial Commissioner Crime Detection, Major General Botsotso Mukangwe, now retired. The exercise happened during the first suspension of the Provincial Commissioner Lieutenant General Manamela, where the provincial task team was verbally disbanded. The interference by the retired General Mukangwe compromised the finalization of investigations. Some of the dockets were withdrawn in court due to the absence of the investigating officers, while others were not attended to. Dockets were taken by the then Brigadier M.W. Mahlangu as instructed by General Mukangwe in the provincial office. These dockets were hanging in the provincial office detective environment, some without being attended, no investigation being conducted. As such, led to other arrested suspects to be released by the court. On the 27th March 2023, the Provincial Commissioner reported back on duty from the first suspension and was served again on the same day with the intention to suspend by the National Commissioner, of which the suspension was not effected after the submission of the representation. Thereafter, the Provincial Commissioner re-established the task team to continue with its work. With the success the team was delivering, Major General Botsotso Mokangwe disbanded the team again during June 2024, when the Provincial Commissioner was suspended for the second time. This time, with the approval of the acting Provincial Commissioner of Mpumalanga, Major General Zephania Mkonazi, as it is alleged. To take note that this is the acting Provincial Commissioner who is approved by General Masemola to stay in one of the expensive hotels in Nelspruit for the period exceeding 19 months, at some point with his staff members consuming millions of rands for his accommodation. The status of the provincial task team, the Provincial Commissioner took a further decision to extend the mandate of the Provincial Task Team to assist with other cases carried by organized crime, DPCI, stations upon request, acknowledging their progressive work. The task team revealed during various investigations the interference of other law enforcement in the South African Police Service and business people who already captured the system. Political disturbance interference is that during 13 December 2025, South African Police Service Mpumalanga Excellent Award held in Monotweni Arena. The MEC for the Department of Community Safety, Security and Liaison, Mr. Jackie Masia, awarded SAPS members 19 LG fridges amount to 25,000 rand each, as he personally announced. The information is available in the YouTube. It is not established where the money was sourced. The former Minister of Police, Minister Bekitele, wanted the former MEC of Kokta arrested during the Mpumalanga January 8 on the 13th January 2024. Minister Tsele got upset as I differed with the instruction without evidence. This did not happen once. Eventually, he insisted that the police chopper, insisted to utilize the police chopper wearing the political party regalia, which was wrong. At the time, he was representing a political party. The National Commissioner called me more than 15 times as the National Commissioner wanted to use the chopper, which he was not entitled to at the time. My problems were escalating. The former Minister of Police, General Bekitele, had appetite to instruct and take control on operational duties in cases of politically related in the province. The pit retrieve murder case 39 of 11/2022 of the African National Congress Deputy Chair in Mkondo, Mr. Musi Manyati, and the pit retrieve case 138 of 1/2023, the murder of the councillor with other two, made the minister to fly to pit retrieve and instructed that all investigation officers with political killing dockets bring along dockets to account to him. The meeting was held on the 16th January 2023 when he personally called me on Sunday evening on the 15th January 2023. The former minister was eager to remove the dockets from the province. Some of the suspects are in custody to date, arrested by the provincial task team. Surprisingly, Mr. Vusi Mota, well known as Gemegeme, was exonerated. He was protected by the retired Major General Mugangwe and Colonel DJ Malope. Mr. Voses Gemegeme is a close associate of both Major General Bototo Mugangwa and Colonel DJ Malope, who was then the investigating officer who deliberately did not do much to investigate the case until he was replaced. The former minister summoned the Gadi investigating team more than twice to Pretoria to give him progress regarding the Gadi case. The investigation of political killings with high-profile cases. Mr. Jimmy Mhlala, the Speaker of Mbombela, was fatally shot and killed in Kanyamazane during 2009 with case 50/1/2009. Mr. Jimmy Mhlala's docket was last kept in head office. The docket, as seen, was without the statement. Colonel Alfred Moloko, who was the investigating officer then, stalled the case, arranging for wrong suspect to be arrested. During the court appearance, the junior official whom he, Moloko, assigned to oppose bail informed the magistrate that the description of the suspect are different from those who are supposed to have been arrested. Colonel Moloko deliberately misled him and the court so that the case can be withdrawn. To take note that Colonel Moloko is the officer allegedly who took the bribe of 300,000 rand from the accused Mr. Jackie Matlala to stall the case of the attempted murder of Major General Obed Ngwenya, then a colonel, whilst Colonel Moloko was still attached to one of the provincial task teams in Mpumalanga. In no time, he, Moloko, owns 4 houses and a dry clean. Mr. Jackie Matlala is currently in prison for robbery where 109 million was robbed in Witbank. The initial suspects on the fraud and corruption of the Mbombela Stadium tender case have been on bail since 2012, which made the case to die ultimately, except one who is released on J534, the payment of admission of guilt. Case numbers as per Nelspruit case 307 of 4/2012 and case 35010 of 2012 are referenced. On 4 February 2025, Major General Mukangwe allegedly made a confession that the amount of 5 million rand was paid to him and the National Commissioner General Fannie Masemola by a businessman by the name of Mr. Bobby Musiani Motaung to make sure that the Provincial Commissioner Lieutenant General Manamela does not return to work. If she does, the case dockets will be reopened, be arrested, as they are allegedly responsible for Jimmy Mhlala's death. The incident of exchanging money allegedly took place during January 2025 in Pretoria, Montana. Mukangwe also said that he is relieved because the National Commissioner General Masemola is part of the plan. He is sure that Manamela will never return to work, thus he is no longer panicking. The 2 dockets of 35010/2012 and 307/4/2012 registered in Nelspruit, South African Police Service are both linked to Jimmy Mhlala's case. In case 35010/2012, Mr. Bobby Musiani Motaung and other 5 suspects were arrested and later released on bail except Mr. Ramoas Michel, who was relieved with J534. On the 17th July 2022, the docket was taken from the investigating officer Colonel Jerry Mapanga to Lieutenant S.I. Mokgapela in the National Anti-Corruption Unit, which he acknowledged only on the 12th October 2022. As the Provincial Commissioner, I was never consulted during the removal and the transferring of dockets. The last movement of the docket in the system is the 22 May 2024. Colonel Alfred Moloko, knows how this docket ended in national without authorization. Case 307 of 12. 307-4 of 2012, Mr. Bobi Musiano Mutaung and other two were arrested and released on bail for fraud in relation to the Mbombela Stadium tender. The docket was taken from Captain Nyatigasi, attached to Nelspruit SAPS. According to the system, on the 11th October 2019, Brigadier Mojela booked the docket to the senior public prosecutor and returned it on the same day. This is pure manipulation of the system. This docket too was taken from the province by Colonel Moloko, who failed to report to the provincial commissioner when he was asked during the meetings held with him on the 31st May 2023 and 6 June 2023. Colonel Moloko said he was tired of being used by Major General Mukangwe. The suspicion was Colonel Moloko knew where the docket was. Prior to my suspensions, there were many dockets which were not accounted for in the office of Mukangwe. They are far beyond 19 dockets. When I demanded a progress enforcing accountability, Mukangwe was amongst those complaining to the National Commissioner about the Provincial Commissioner, and to that effect, my powers to discipline senior officers were taken. Eventually, I was suspended by General Masemola for enforcing discipline, despite the fact that I made him aware of my frustrations. It was General Mukangwe's ideas to convince the National Commissioner in making sure that the Provincial Commissioner does not return to work as they are going to be arrested. The agreement was reached in exchanging 5 million rand to protect criminality. Take note that Major General Mukangwe protected one of his allies, Constable Ndaba, for a 1 million rand suspected to be illegally found in his bank account. Although a criminal case was registered in Gauteng province during the era of the then Provincial Commissioner of Mpumalanga, Lieutenant General Thulani Ntobela, no disciplinary steps were taken against him, even under the command of Mukangwe. Instead, Lieutenant General Ntobela promoted Constable Ndaba to a captain in Witbank FCS, as much as that promotion has been withheld. South Africans might be aware that the Provincial Commissioner has ever since fighting the legal battle in various courts with suspensions that she won, but the National Commissioner General Masemola fighting very hard, appealing to stop and block the Provincial Commissioner from performing her duties. This is not all. The interference with investigations. On April 2022, a young girl, Hilary Gadi, was shot and killed as per Nelspruit case 7-1 of 5/2022. 3 suspects were arrested at the time. One of the suspected person, Mr. Rasinkuna, was at large. It was during the investigation and tracing when Mr. Rasi was allegedly communicating with the District Commissioner of Ehlanzeni, Major General Dora Kaba. Major General Dora Kaba was assisting the suspect to hide, not to be arrested, and informing that he, Rasi, must not communicate with police officers or anyone, as she is the investigating officer of which she was lying. She was quite aware at the time that Mr. Rasinkun was a wanted suspect, but she let him run. The investigating officer was and is still Captain Mokalipi, the branch commander of Nelspruit. Mr. Rasinkuna was later arrested in KwaThema for other 2 murder cases after he fatally shot the police official and her sister. Mr. Rasinkuna confessed that he was the one fatally shot the Gadi girl and prepared to show where the firearm was hidden in Kwanyamazane. But Major General Mugango and Colonel Manope were not happy with that confession. It was Mugango who arranged that the blood be taken for DNA in Pretoria and sent Constable Zita to transport the blood in Pretoria. The question is, why did the blood had to go via Emelo to Pretoria, and eventually the blood is suspected to have been tampered with? As I inquired and demanded progress from the former Major General Botsotso Mugangwe, he was not eager anymore to ensure the success of this matter, as he continuously forcing that the docket be closed as there was no case. Docket management and manipulation. During October 2020, Mr. Robert Kaya Sohone, the former speaker of Victor Kanye local municipality at Delmas, was arrested with Jabulani Mashao, Nolisi Tuli and Sibusiso Ephraim Tuli for attempted murder, robbery aggravating with circumstances, malicious damage to property as per Delmas Case 62 of 11/2020 and Delmas Case 125 of 11/2020. On 20 November 2020, the bail was granted by Magistrate Manisa Zondo under duress as he claimed to have been threatened and intimidated. After the appeal by the state to oppose bail, the order was granted in favor of the state that the bail be revoked and the warrant of arrest J50 be executed. It was during the next court appearance when Major General Mugango withdrew the investigating officers and replaced them by his ally Colonel Matabani Solomon Tobejani to deliberately disturb the court proceedings and the execution of the warrant of arrest, which was about to be effected, protecting his friend. To date, the warrant of arrest is not executed. Mr. Robert Kaya Sohone have other 15 cases minimum, which are 12 dockets registered in 2020, 3 in 2019. These dockets were assigned to members since 2020-2021. Out of these 15 dockets, Delmas Case 124 of 7/2020 and Delmas Case 107 of 4/2020 were transferred to the Deputy Provincial Commissioner Crime Detection Major General Botsotso Mugangwe on the 14th November 2021. Delmas Case 165 of 2020 was transferred to Colonel DJ Malope on the 9th November 2020. The latest case is registered as Delmas as Case 103/11/2025 for extortion. The complainant is Mr. Thabo Motau. No arrest is effected to date. To note that this is the former speaker who confessed to the investigating officer Constable Jabulani Mdebele to have funded Colonel Dikhabani John Malope's wedding ceremony at Groblersdal and claimed to be friendship with Mugango. Hence, he is protected. The dockets were taken from the stations and kept in offices of senior members in the provincial office without being investigated on instructions of General Mugango, while some were gathering dust in his office to ensure that criminals are protected. Assigned on his name, Major General Mugango recalled and kept dockets in his office ranging from 2009. At the time of my suspension, at least 19 dockets were confirmed with 4 murder, 4 attempted murder, 1 possession of unlicensed firearm, 1 truck hijacking, 1 defeating the cause of justice, 1 fraud, 1 criminal injury, 1 house robbery and farm murder, 1 possession of illegal firearm, 1 robbery with weapon other than firearm, 1 possession of firearm and ammunition. These dockets were removed from his name in the system only after his retirement in January 2025 by Colonel J.J. Mahlangu, who is one of his associates. The example is in the next slide. I will present to you the example of the dockets that was registered in Nelspruit 2014. Just to bring to your attention that as it was registered 2014, I'll take you to the 2016 and when the accused was charged. This is the time when General Mugang would take the docket for himself. The accused was charged on the 7 November 2014 by Lieutenant Colonel M.F. Magagola for the first appearance in court. But since then, as it was reminded by him, there was a gap of 2 years up until 2016 where there was no movement of the docket in the system, because it was seen that this docket has been sealed, has been concealed, not to be going back to court for proceedings. 2016-31, August, at 10:46, the docket was assigned to General Mukangwe by General Mukangwe, meaning that he assigned this docket by himself and acknowledged the docket himself in the system. And 2017, up until 2016, it went up until 2022 when the case was remanded by BP Bila in the magistrate court. And again, this docket was taken back to General Mukangwe up until 2025. Again, there is a gap from 2022 to 2025. It is not clear where the docket was. At the same time, this docket has been in possession of General Mukangwe at the same time. And 2025, July the 8th, 1305, the docket is transferred to murder and robbery by Colonel J.J. Mahlangu. And 16 July 2025, it is received and acknowledged by Brigadier D.B. Dibakwan, which it is very strange and surprising because a colonel cannot be assigning a docket to a brigadier. This is only one of the examples of all the dockets that are being seen and taken to his office, how manipulative they were. These dockets are assigned to various members who are in the criminal network syndicates and close to Major General Mukangwe in the detective office to manage the movement in the system without the dockets being taken to court, again protecting the criminals. It was discovered that these dockets are missing and duplicates are being made to disguise, as some of them were intended to be taken back to the stations. The dockets infiltrated in the Vehicle Crime Investigation Unit. This is the general who interferes with the police operation even on his requirement to instruct members to unlawfully assist and release criminals. On the 2026 March 31, the retired Major General Mukangwe allegedly called Captain Maroha, attached to Vehicle Crime Investigation Unit in Middleburg, to instruct the investigating officer Constable Mdebele to cancel the stolen vehicle circulated and registered as Middleburg Case 282 of 2026. Colonel Madonsela was also called the investigating officer Constable Mdebele on the same matter, as she was also called and instructed by the retired General Mukangwe. The suspect in the above matter is Mr. Mduduzi Msibi, who is currently out on bail for attempted murder in Middleburg. Major General Mukangwe is protecting this criminal from being arrested. Take note that Captain Maroha is allegedly unlawfully releasing motor vehicles, trucks with stolen goods, including diesel, whilst closing files of investigating officers in the VCIU without consulting with them. The dockets are manipulated in the system. Colonel DJ Malopi, who is attached to the murder and robbery at the provincial office, was in possession of 213 dockets assigned on his name, kept in his office, collecting dust and not being thoroughly investigated nor inspected. These dockets aged from 2011 to at least 2024 when I was suspended. A junior officer with no experience of investigation and the entire detective environment, Lieutenant Colonel Eunice Sutole, was assigned and keeping 15 dockets for the years 2023 and 2024 in her name as an investigator. 5 murder, 5 attempted murder, 3 malicious damage to property, 1 car hijacking, and 1 assault. It must be noted that and emphasized that these dockets are taken from stations, manipulated in the system, movement being made in the system to be viewed as if they are being attended to. Meanwhile, in actual fact, nothing is done to finalize them, thus defeating the end of justice. Illegal mining and illegal activities. Major General Dora Kaba is an associate with the alleged kingpin of the illegal gold mining in Hlanzeni district, Mr. Kaiser Gwebu. On 12 April 2024, Mr. Kaiser Gwebu made a confession to Mr. Mziako that the previous day, on the 11th April 2024, a tax that is called a money was paid to the District Commissioner of Hlanzeni, Major General Dora Kaba, to take it to the senior officers in Pretoria. The names were not mentioned. The telephone conversation was held between Mr. Gwebu and Mr. Mziako, who wanted to expose corruption by Major General Kaba, who is continuously complaining to General Masemola about the provincial commissioner. Mr. Gwebu is currently on parole on cases of murder and robbery with firearm. During 2024, Major General Kaba allegedly promoted her allies, to mention but few, Lieutenant Colonel Sondlani, her staff officer, to public order policing POP without experience in the public orders policing environment. She also promoted Lieutenant Colonel Rapala from support environment to the station commander's post in Sabi SAPS without experience. The list is endless. The National Commissioner General Masemola ignored the information as I sensitized him. When I take steps, he reversed the disciplinary steps and take my powers. Listen to lies Kaba was saying. In the process, I was suspended. General Kaba is an associate again of Brigadier Rosingele, the provincial head of supply chain management, where the central database for procurement is not implemented and suppliers' prices are inflated to accommodate the chosen, as alleged. The vehicle tires, as quoted for 14,000 rand, were inflated to 120,000 rand allegedly. Brigadier Lindani Ndlovu, the station commander of Forceman, infiltrated by business people, illegal miners, and judiciary. With favors he is doing to illegal activities, there are transactions made to Standard Bank account to his wife, Lieutenant Colonel Nelly Ndlovu, as seen in the next slide. It will be presented now. Ndlovu's wife is currently promoted to a lieutenant colonel, where allegedly he was part of the promotion panel where his wife was eventually promoted. The transaction of the bank account, as it states, from J. Sender Holding. The amount of 170,000 rand was paid to Nelly Ndlovu on the 22 September 2021. The second example in that transaction, 250,000 rand was paid in the account of Lieutenant Colonel Nelly Ndlovu's wife, 25 November 2021. Those are the transactions that were made in the account of Ndlovu's wife. Brigadier Ndlovu was accused to have received 100,000 rand from a businessman, so he says. His house in Witbank is alleged to have been paid by the so-called white man through FNB property bond. The Deputy Provincial Commissioner of Support, Major General Buti Lukubu, was the chair when these revelations were made then, but he was reluctant to take steps against Ndlovu. On the 29 December 2022, a formal request together with statements by complainants was made to Major General Kana of the DPCI to investigate the alleged illegal mining activities and cash transactions by Brigadier Lindani Ndlovu, the station commander of Forsman. During that time, the Provincial Commissioner briefed the National Commissioner. To date, the case died a sudden death. The Provincial Commissioner informed the National Commissioner General Masemola the intention to transfer him. Instead, the National Commissioner General Masemola suspended the Provincial Commissioner. Ndlovu, during 2023, deliberately bumped the civilian vehicle after he was not given the bribe of 10,000 rand in the tavern of the well-known owner, Mr. Chris Lalela, now late. This is one of the taverns that operates for as long as it wants to operate, as protection is paid to the station commander, Brigadier Ndlovu. The late Mr. Chris Lalela was identified as the kingpin in the Team Shikisha illegal mining operators, very close with Brigadier Ndlovu. The case was registered as Forsman Case 65 of 7/2023. It was opened and withdrawn by the complainant after allegedly the bottle of Johnny Walker Black and a bribe of 2,500 was paid by Brigadier Ndlovu in the presence of Mr. John Phiri, known as Stephen. Mr. John Phiri was a middleman between the complainant and Brigadier Ndlovu. Brigadier Ndlovu's suspensions was reversed by General Masemola after Ndlovu went to head office and complained about the Provincial Commissioner. The disciplinary action against Ndlovu was also reversed and taken from the chairperson, Major General Adolf, in the middle of the process by Lieutenant General Gineo Nkua, the Divisional Commissioner of Human Resource Management in head office. On the 19th October 2023, discipline files of all affected senior officers were demanded and taken by Lieutenant General Nkua. The separate letter alleging to appoint functionaries to deal with Ndlovu matter was sent to me for my information. On the 3rd October 2023, the Provincial Commissioner's powers to discipline senior officers in the province were taken by the National Commissioner completely, by extension protecting them and stopping me from disciplining members. On February 2026, Brigadier Ndlovu dispersed the SAPS marked vehicle with registration number PWP172B to escort people suspected of transporting the illegal activities, indicating and informing The two sergeants that the vehicles to be escorted is for the Minister of Police, who was allegedly driving from Pretoria. Brigadier Ndlovu asked the members if they had the R5 rifles in their possession. Upon arrival in Diamond Hill, where they were directed, they were informed to proceed to one of the filling stations in Pretoria. There were 3 vehicles that were used. One of them was the black BMW, white Toyota Fortuner, and a blue VW Golf. The drivers and the passengers were Indians as alleged. The Minister of Police was not there. The vehicles were escorted back to Witbank until the total garage next to Witbank Dam. It was that point when one of the members identified the Indian guy as the owner of the curtain store in Witbank and not the Minister of Police as instructed by Brigadier Ndlovu. An amount of 400 rand was given to the members as a token of appreciation. Note that Brigadier Ndlovu is the officer assisted Mr. Buti Mamba not to be arrested after he shot and killed a person in front of Warrant Officer Mgomezulu's home in Akeville. Instead, Ndlovu recalled one of his allies while off duty to attend the scene of crime. Mr. Mamba has previously been involved in an illegal mining and protected by Ndlovu as his associate. Warrant Officer Mgomezulu was previously dismissed for dealing with illegal mining, currently reinstated after my suspension. Mgomezulu and Mamba are certain that they are done with the provincial commissioner, who will be fired. Surprisingly, Mr. Buti Mamba is not a